Hey y'all, let's make a loaf of artisan bread. We're gonna do this one jalapeno cheese today. So let's get started. We have our starter that is bubbly and ready to go. To our scale, we're gonna add 100 grams of bubbly starter. 106, that's fine, 105. We're gonna zero this back out and we're gonna put 300 grams of spring water. And you can see this is kind of floating around in here. That's what you want. That's how you know your starter is ready to go. Place this on the counter. Don't ever mix on your digital scale. We're gonna stir this up until it looks like milky water. We have zeroed our scale back out. Now we're going to add 10 grams of salt. Let's give this a little mix. We're gonna zero our scale back again. We're gonna add 500 grams of unbleached flour. Next, we're gonna remove this from the scale and we're gonna incorporate all of the water into the flour. This takes just a few minutes, and when we come back, I'll show you what to do next. Next, we're gonna incorporate all of this flour to our water. And this takes just a few minutes. Once you get to this point, we're gonna knead this with clean hands. Now that everything's incorporated, we're gonna leave this to sit for 30 minutes, and then we're gonna do our first stretch and fold. So we'll be back in 30 minutes to do that. All right, guys, before I go to bed, I'm going to give one more stretch and fold to our bread that we have going. So this is what our dough is looking like. To do a stretch and fold, you're just gonna pull and fold. And you wanna do this 2 to 3 times per loaf. And now this is gonna set and be ready for in the morning. So we're done with that. And now it's just gonna continue to rest for the rest of the night. All right, y'all, let's add some mix in. So at this point, this bread has been fermenting for 12 hours. I'm a little late getting to it, but it'll be just fine. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna make jalapeno cheese mix-in. So I have 4 ounces of cubed up cheddar cheese, so half of an 8-ounce block. And then I have minced 1 jalapeno. And actually, before I get started, I don't use Banneton baskets. I just got these colanders from the Dollar Tree. And then I use flour sack towels. You can get these anywhere. So we're just gonna take a little bit of all-purpose flour, put that in the bottom. And one of 2 things can happen. I don't want to bake this bread right now, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna put this in the refrigerator and we're gonna let it cold ferment until I'm ready to bake this. If you wanted to, you could go directly from this point to the oven if you wanted, and I do that a lot of times. If I put a bread together first thing in the morning and it's gonna be for dinner that night, that's exactly what I will do. But I made this bread overnight and it's morning time now. And so I don't want to make this until dinner time. So I'm going to take a little more than half, so probably 2/3 of our jalapeno. Sometimes I'll save a few slices for the top. I didn't today. And then we're going to take 2/3 of our cheese. And this is going to go on here like this. Just get them all spread out. That way you don't end up with one giant clump of cheddar in the middle of your loaf. So now what we're going to do is we're going to stretch this up and fold it over. We're gonna stretch this up and fold this over. We're gonna take our cheese, the other 1/3 of our cheese, and we're gonna put it on this side. Now our jalapeno, get that spread out. Now we're gonna roll this up. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna stretch this out and push under. And if you can see, pushing under at the same time. Now, one thing you don't wanna do is you wanna try not to burst this open. I'm not gonna score this till it comes out. What that is. So everything is in here, all incorporated. Oop, got a hole. We'll get that pinched up. And this is gonna go into our floured Banneton basket. I'm gonna put just a little bit flour on top. And this is gonna go in the refrigerator until I'm ready to bake. So that's gonna be about 7 hours that this is gonna be in the refrigerator, and then I'll show you what I'm gonna do when I pull it out and we get ready to bake this. It's late in the afternoon and I am ready to bake our jalapeno cheese bread. Today I'm gonna do an open air bake, and in order to do that, I'm reducing our oven temperature from 450 to 425. I'm gonna put during the preheat and leave in there 1 pan of water, just regular sink water. And then I'm gonna bake our bread in a cast iron skillet. So let me get this put in the oven. We're preheating our oven again to 425. And this is gonna go in here, and it's just gonna sit next to our baking bread so that it can let off some steam that we're not gonna get from normally when I make in a Dutch oven. We have pulled our bread out of the refrigerator. It's been in there since this morning, and you can see how it looks. And we're just going to flip this out. So our bread is ready to bake, and we're gonna score this before we put it in. So what we're gonna do is take this, and we're just gonna do a plain, what they call an ear. So that's scored and it's ready to go in. Our oven is preheated and our pan of water is in there ready to go. And I'll see y'all in 40 minutes so we can pull our bread out. Our bread is in the oven, and I'll show y'all what that looks like in 40 minutes. All right, we have pulled our bread out of the oven. I'm gonna let it sit on this wire rack for an hour before we attempt to cut it. But it came out great. All right, it's time to cut our bread. So this has been sitting for an hour, and this is what it looks like on the inside. We're ready for dinner.